Hey, so this is the Halloween 2022 script. Um, there's a few things I wanted to change and update, but I just don't have time, so I'll try to do that next year. But I still think it's fun to open. It was a fun script to put together. And if you've listened to my channel before or you haven't, a big thing for me when it comes to learning is just opening these things, looking at how they work from node to node, and tweaking them, making them your own. I think that's a incredible way to learn these tools, and not just watching a click by click tutorial. At least that's how I learn. Just actually doing these projects, doing simple geometry things, or trying to create something that I see it in a book, try to recreate it in Dynamo. So, anyways, this will be on GitHub. Here's the repo. If I go back to the main like interface where you can go to all your other tabs. I don't know if this is what it looks like on your end, but I have it pinned if you can click on it. But if not, if you just look at all of my repos, you should be able to find it and even search for it. But you'll see all sorts of Dynamo scripts. Also below there's a link in the description, but I wanted to show you exactly how to get to it. So if you come here, there's a folder called Random Scripts. This is where I put like scripts from like holiday things, like you can see Easter 2022 is in there. Check that out. That was a really fun script to put together, and I think there's some really good computational geometry type things like the grass. There was a lot of stuff that went into the grass. So check that out. And then you can see there's other ones from like challenges. This is parametric stairs, kind of interesting. But anyways, when you see this video and you go out there, it'll be there. I haven't published it yet, but it'll be there when you get there. So this is the script. It's not terribly complicated. There's a couple circles, one at the top, one at the bottom, that define the shape of the pumpkin, and then there's some arches you can see connecting from circle to circle that create the ribs of the pumpkin. And then there's another one that you don't see, but there's a point in here that kind of create that rind. So the skin between the ribs, how it comes out, there's a point that kind of defines that. I don't have that point as a changeable point because it kind of gets weird when you change these independent of each other. It typically breaks, and then it's hard to figure out how to get it back to work. So it's easy. What I have it here is set to negative 0.5. So whenever you move it, the rind just stays negative 0.5. The mouth and the eyes aren't parametric, but like I said, there's things I want to add to it. That's one of it, to be able to parametrically change, the location, maybe even the shape. But I don't have that right now. I was thinking like how to, if you saw my point and polygon video that will be posted later this week. If you see that, I use a polygon I generate a polygon from that. I was thinking about applying that to some of these elements, or like some of the facial elements in the future, but I haven't. But if you want to, that video will be out. So this one comes out Monday the 31st. That one will come out I think Tuesday, November 1st. The point and polygon one. So anyways, the ribbon rind, that's there, but there's a few different things that you can mess with to change. You can change the division, so how many ribs, essentially. So if we brought that up, let's just max it out so you can really see the change. So you can see there, that's how many ribs. And you can see it kind of looks weird on the inside. I'm going to rotate this a little bit so you guys can see the top. So it is the geometry is a solid. And I thought it looked cool. I thought that was interesting. It gave it just more character, and it looked like an actual pumpkin, just with that thickness. So the top and bottom radius. So if we set this real low, 3 I think is a good number. I wanted to put a top on that, and actually, let's run that again. I don't know if I've changed both the top and bottom. I'm going to change the minimum on that to 2. You can see the color, something's messed up. And that's what I mean. There's a few things I want to test and update in this script that I just don't have time to do currently. But again, maybe next year. Change that back to 3. I found that 3, like, if you leave either one at 3, it'll allow you to flex the other one. And now it's not. So let me change this back to 28. Because I had an interesting design. Way over here is where it's getting colored, but turn that off. That's messing with it. That's what it was. Okay. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then I had it to where I could do one or the other side, but it looks like it was erroring for some reason. So there's that. That looks kind of cool. And then if I go back to 11, set that to 4. And now that's broke. Not the coolest example, and not so cool to do a video on, but still I think it's kind of interesting. Let's put that to 10, change that to 3. So kind of cool. And that was one of the things, like, I like to do. Like, if I was going to create a script to, for a project that gave somebody the ability to flex between different conditions, then I'd like to set these. Like, I kind of set these here, but make sure that they work. And then if there's certain conditions that they don't, describe what those are. But those are the few of the things I'd like to test. Kind of look at the different conditions. I'd also like to optimize it. A lot of the preview, or a lot of the nodes, the preview is set off, and really the only thing that's being shown is the solid. But it's still a pretty slow script, and I think it's slow because it's of the solid, which is kind of happening over here. And so here's the surface thickness right there, and that's where trying to create it, I think it's just having troubles creating the thickness of the solid. So or not just the thickness of it, but actually trying to join it up and create that geometry. So there's different ways I'd like to think about that, but in how I create the geometry itself, because I'm using like the different lines and creating planes and joining those planes and then thickening the surface and then joining that to solids and then trying to color it. So I'm sure there's a better way to go about it, but again, I wanted to get it out there to you guys since it's Halloween. That's today, and for Easter, I didn't get it until later. So this is here. Feel free to check it out on GitHub. Also, check out the Discord if you haven't. That's in the description. Also with GitHub. So check those out. If you like the channel, subscribe, like, and if you have any questions or want to share anything, feel free to comment. But thanks for watching.